All right, let's finish up our last 4 problems here. So we have number 12, which was 8h to the third minus 12h plus 20. Is there a GCF? Let's see. 2 times 2 times 2, h minus 2 times 2 times 3, h plus 2 times 2 times 5. Well, I can see they all have a 2 in common. So I'm going to have a 4 on the outside with a 2h to the third minus 3h plus 5. I know at this point I'm done because this trinomial right here has a leading coefficient of 2. And in order to factor that again, we're only doing leading coefficients of 1. So if you have a trinomial with leading coefficient of 2 and it's not a squared like that, that's a cube, so we know we're not going to go any further. That's as far as we're going to go. Okay, so let me go ahead and write that answer down again so it looks a little bit nicer. So 4 parenthesis 2h to the third minus 3h plus 5. That's our answer to number 12. Okay, I'm going to give you 13, 14, and 15 now all at once. 13 is m squared minus 10m subtract 24. Number 14 is 10a plus 17. And number 15 is g to the third power minus 8g squared plus 5g. I'm going to give you about a minute and a half to work on these. Then we'll go over the answers. Let's look at number 13. The first thing I need to determine is whether or not there is a GCF. Let's write it all out. m minus 2 times 5m minus 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. And we can clearly see there's not a GCF there. Let's go ahead and erase that. So we're going to use X games to determine what two numbers, when added together, give me a negative 10, and when multiplied, give me a negative 24. Hopefully you determined that. That was a negative 12 and 2. So my answer number 13 is m subtract 12 times m plus 2, or you could say m plus 2 times m subtract 12. And we can see that negative 12 times 2 is a negative 10. Negative 12 times 2 is a negative 24. Number 14, 10a plus 17. First thing I need to do is determine whether or not there's a GCF. 2 times 5a plus 17. There's not a GCF. Neither is there a squared here or trinomial. So our answer here is cannot be factored. Okay, last problem. We have g to the power of 3 minus 8g squared plus 5g. First of all, is there a GCF? We have 3g's minus 2 times 2 times 2 with 2g's plus a 5 and a g. Sorry about that, I have a tickle in my throat. I can see that I have a g in common for each one. So my GCF is g, so that's going to go on the outside. Then I have g squared minus 8g plus 5. Now, if you'll notice, I do have a GCF of 1 here, so I could see if I could factor just this part again. So I'm wondering, are there two numbers that when multiplied give me a 5 and when added negative 8? And it turns out there are not, so this actually cannot be factored any further. So the final answer for 15 is g parenthesis g squared minus 8g plus 5.